Stories of hope where hearts connect. Side effects may include joy, advocacy, and inclusion too. You're listening to The Inclusion Effect, sharing love, strength, and respect. Side effects may include joy, advocacy, and inclusion for me and you.
Hello and welcome to The Inclusion Effect. I'm Anna and I'm here to talk with guests and with all of you about disability advocacy, inclusion, and the ups and downs of navigating a world that isn't always built for the disability community. Today's guest here with me is Jaycie Conley. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, Jaycie and I have been friends online for years and years. Like, I'd say most of Addie's life. We haven't met in person yet, but she is just down the West Coast a little bit from me in California. Hopefully at the Dear Moms Conference next year, we will meet in person. Jaycie, do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself and your family?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 37. I have 3 kids, one of whom is my shared child with my husband from another relationship. And then I have 2 with my husband. And my oldest is Dax. He is 4 years old, and he is my child with Down syndrome.
Yes, and actually being stepmoms is something you and I bonded over a lot too. Yes,
it was.
That's also a very specific walk of parenting. It's very unique, just like Down syndrome parenting. You know, those are very specific things.
It has its own challenges for sure.
Yes, yeah, okay. And do you want to tell us a little bit about your general advocacy and life with a child with Down syndrome?
So I didn't have a prenatal diagnosis. I had a birth surprise diagnosis, and I spent a lot of time kind of going through that grief process, the whole thing. You know, I think it was like 9 months where I didn't really talk about it. I didn't confirm it, but I didn't deny it. Like there were moments in that time period where I was using that as like a process for my own self, like where you have the idea of what your children are going to be and who they're going to be and whatever their potential is or isn't. And then I think what really sparked the advocacy part for me was when, as you know, we all got that World Health Organization disability, or what was the word that they said? It sparked so much fire in me. And I think I was like 9 months into my parenting journey, my first child, and the mama bear came out. What did they say? I forget how.
I'm Googling it. I remember you and I talking about it. You keep talking. I'll look it up.
But no, it was like they should know better. You're a World Health Organization, and you called it like not like a disfigurement, but something negative like that. And it really upset me. And that was when, I think it was October, because it was World Down Syndrome Month and like World Awareness Month. And it's like, how can you sit there in our Awareness Month and be so misinformed? Like, how can you be perpetuating this information? So that was when I took it upon myself. Like, it was the first Down Syndrome Awareness Month that I had been, a part of, even just being a part of the club at this point. And that was when I really decided, I was like, all right, I gotta lock it up, and I gotta put my feelings aside, and I gotta put, how I'm feeling, how I'm processing and digesting all this, and really put him first. Headliner, front and center. He is the important piece here. And so that was when I decided. It was the end of the awareness month, so I missed it, but it ended up fueling oh gosh. And it like compounded in that same month, because that was when the Love is Blind episode aired.
Okay, so filling in everybody on some back drama that Jaycie and I were side by side writing in, so angry in the comments on social media. So first of all, the WHO World Health Organization controversy that Jaycie mentioned, that I think we first like anger bonded over, I guess. So I had to Google it because this has been 2022. It's been 3 years. I couldn't remember. So for World Birth Defects Day,
That was
the
a
WHO
defect.
issued a social media post that included Down syndrome alongside other severe birth defects, implying that it could be prevented or treated through prenatal care, which, if you know, and if you're listening to this podcast, I am sure you know that's just not the case. There is a very small percentage, less than 1%, of people who have Down syndrome that have translocation, which can be hereditary, but every other case of Down syndrome in the world, every other person who is born with Down syndrome, that happens spontaneously at conception. They just have an extra chromosome. It happens. It's spontaneous. There's nothing you do or don't do that causes it. And if you have the hereditary kind, you know that. Like, they did genetic testing. They found out it's a different carrier type. And then it says that the WHO, in response to the backlash, the WHO apologized and edited its original post and acknowledged that the post had unintentionally implied that Down syndrome was preventable and that it had conflated two distinct messages. So that was the first thing that Jaycie was talking about, was the WHO saying that Down syndrome is a birth defect that could be preventable, which is just incorrect. And coming from the World Health Organization, that is a major misstep in our opinions.
You trust these people to know what they're talking about.
Yes. And then I was so angry over this one because I have been a diehard Love is Blind fan, and
my husband has been. So, like, for him to want to watch it is
yes. So Love is Blind had, I think she was a speech therapist or a speech pathologist. She had a job where she worked with disabled children, and her and her partner.
Pissed me off
Her and her partner on the show. I doubt they're together anymore. I don't remember their names. I'm so sorry. This was back again in 2022. Rodriguez was her last name. Yes. I don't remember her first name. Anyways, she got on and they were talking about creating a family. And she said that she would have an abortion if she had a child with Down syndrome, which, okay, that's options. Yeah. But what made people so angry, and definitely speaking for myself, and I think you too from memory, what made people so angry is that she then said, so she didn't just say she'd get an abortion. That happens all the time. We know that. People get abortions when they find out they're kids with Down syndrome for lots of reasons. And lack of education, lack of resources. Jaycie and I, again, are on the same page about that. But
if that's what you choose for yourself, power to you.
Okay, yes. Then she said, and again, remember, she works with disabled children. Mm-hmm. She said, and I'm reading the quote, "For me, if I knew that I could try again and hope the second time it's better, then I would go that route." And that is a yes. I would try again for better. That is dangerous information, or misinformation, I guess. That is a dangerous rhetoric that she pushed on national Netflix television, international, I guess. And there's a lot of backlash. And to my knowledge, she never acknowledged it. And Netflix aired it. Netflix didn't have to air it. They were editing the show. This is Reality Corner with Jaycie and Anna. They edited the show and put that in there. They chose that.
It was rage bait, to be honest.
It was rage bait, and it worked. We were all furious. If you weren't in the Down syndrome community in 2022, I cannot tell you. I don't think we'll ever recreate that kind of rage. I hope we don't have to, because everybody.
Roy Snyder got on television, and somebody else I follow too. They all did interviews.
Yes, there's another mom that's big in the Down syndrome advocacy social media space got on and said and talked about it too, and I'm totally forgetting who it was right now.
It was on KTLA.
It was all over the news. Everybody that's listening that doesn't know, it was all over the news. This woman who works with disabled kids said she would try for better. Like, that is such ableist, dangerous rhetoric, especially in the political climate that we're in right now. Like, it was so reckless and dangerous, and everybody was furious. So that was a lot of backstory, but I guess so you could call us Down syndrome social justice warriors on social media. That's fine with me. That's fine with me, because it's true.
I wear that badge with honor.
Same. If I'm fighting for my kid, I'm fighting for my kid. I do not care. I own that. So, okay. That was a lot of me talking. You go ahead. You take it now.
But that was good. That was the advocacy piece that pulled me out of my grief. It was a turning point for me. Because at that point, I was like, why me? Why us? Why our family? Of course it was us. Of course I'd be the 1 in 700. Oh, man, we got to buy a lotto ticket. Like, you know. So at that point, I had pulled myself out of it. in the pity, in the self wallowing of whatever it was of why me, it's not about me anymore, it's about
Yeah,
him. And that was the
I
thing
love
that
that.
kind of like it helped it when I'm fighting for like my high school quote, to pull it back, is because you fight for the lost causes because those are the ones worth fighting for. Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Like, that was my high school quote at 18 years old. Like, I posted a video a couple of days ago where it was Taylor Swift's Invisible String. There are pieces in my life that I missed up to this point that kind of like prepared me to be his mom. And
Yeah,
like
yes.
the emotional aspects aside of it, like I've been fluent in ASL since I was in high school. I
Amazing. So jealous of that.
was a part of Tri Delta, 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 Delta sorority, blue and yellow, and like threes, and like it's like cosmic. And it
Yes.
pulled me out
Oh.
of that, so I got angry enough to where I didn't care. I went public on my Instagram, which I never do. I went public and I went tagging people over that Love is Blind nonsense, and it just, I tagged Kate DeLay, I tagged all of these things. And like I said yesterday, I felt like a bull in a china shop where I didn't have the wherewithal or the calm to be able to plan it. And that was why I look up to Misty Coy Snyder and you. And like, you have such an alignment with like a purpose. So I appreciate that and I want to emulate that.
That is so nice, actually. Well, it's so interesting. And I actually, speaking of Misty, I talked about this on my podcast episode with her, but I feel the same. I feel that I was uniquely prepared for this life before I was living it. And one big part of that is that my first bachelor's degree and my career before Addie was born was in marketing and social media. And so it like has given me a unique ability, I guess, to like I don't know what the word would be, a skill set to communicate and to talk about what's going on and the advocacy that needs to happen and the changes that need to happen. And it's like it's prepared me. It's prepared me,
Yeah.
really. It has.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate you saying that. And like I think you do a great job advocating. So
Thank you. And my bachelor's was in child psychology.
I don't
And
think I
then
knew that.
educationally, my master's is education.
Perfect.
So going through the IEP process as a parent has been a complete shift. I used to be on the other side. Like, now seeing it from this perspective, I can understand why parents are overwhelmed. I understand why parents are offended. There's verbiage in the IEP. I don't know if you've sat down for your first IEP yet.
We've done our IFSP.
Okay.
We won't do our IEP until Addie's 5, so we still have a year and a half. It's
Okay.
the individual. You probably I don't know if California has it. Not every state does. It's individual family service plan, and so it's
Right.
like an IEP, but they're not in official schooling yet. So it's a little
Oh, okay.
different.
We
It's
did
family
for our
focused.
regional center. We did IPP until 3. We did
Similar then, yeah.
IFSP from 0 to 3. We
Okay.
do IPP from 3 to 5. But when he's in school, IEP is why he gets services in school, because they don't provide services from 3 on if he's in school.
I see.
So,
okay.
Regional center.
Yeah, every
paid for it.
state's
Now it's
different.
school district. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for us, at 3 years old, I was taken away from the service providers that we had built. He had services since he was 6 weeks old. So he had them for 3 total years almost. And then now I'm like thrown into the deep end. What do I do? How do I do this process on the parent side? And so it's not currently, before anything changes, currently it's a cluster, because they fight you and they tell you, oh no, we think this is the process, we think that, and they are well intended, but here in this Ventura Unified School District, I've had to take them to court probably twice now, and he's only been in school for a year and a couple months.
Yes, and I want to talk to you about that for sure. So can you kind of walk us through that journey? What led you up to doing this? What motivated you? What the outcome was? Walk us through it.
So basically, Daxton has mobility issues, as most kids with DS do. and he wears SMOs. I don't know the technical word. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like supra something orthotics,
Mhm.
and they're the ankle braces that go in the shoe. And he
Mhm.
wears those, and he is nonverbal, but he signs. He knows baby signs, but I've also taught him basic ASL, basic
Yes.
conversational ASL. And so he says, "Mom, more milk, all done, potty." He says all 200 signs by the time he was three and
Wow.
a half.
Addie's got all the ones you said. She's got probably 30. She's catching up to me, honestly. So
Do
that's
it. Keep
great.
going, because
Yes.
honestly, the way that he communicates, he has an auditory processing thing, I think, where it's a bit of a delay between the connection of what you're saying and understanding it. And so I think all of these things are necessary for his people, his teachers, his aides, his service providers, whoever it is, to talk to him and to understand what he's saying. Even though if he says, for example, right now he's super into SpongeBob, he'll go bub bub instead.
Oh.
So obviously I know what that is, but dad sometimes has a hard time understanding what he say. He'll look to me
Yeah.
like the typical child like language of their own. But for them to know at school, I had to specifically take them to court and say, look, he is not deaf, but he signs and communicates by ASL. So I need somebody not to interpret, not to be there for him, because obviously he doesn't speak Spanish, so he needs a Spanish English interpreter. He needs somebody that understands total communication. So I need you, the school district, to make sure that his aide, his one on one, is trained to know at least the basic 10, 20 vocabulary words that he uses
Mhm.
regularly. They fought me on that. They said, well, he's not deaf. And well, um, he needs to learn English. I'm like, no, I know that. But given his delay, can you not fight me on this? Can you just give him what he needs right now so that you're
Right.
not having to show him pictures? Well, what about an AAC device or the alternative
Augmentative. Augmented.
augmentative?
Yep.
Yeah. Like why are you giving him a third thing now he has to learn? Just accommodate him to where he is. So I got an attorney. Shout out to Venom and German out in Sherman Oaks, California. They have helped me so much. They took us to due process. We had a settlement. We negotiated, and they gave him a one-on-one aid. They gave him the amount of minutes per service per week that he needs. They are now doing consultative hours with the deaf and hard of hearing consultant person
Mhm.
with the school district, to his aide, to his teachers, to his service providers. So now we have all that, and it's just, why do I have to fight you for it? Why can't you just meet me
Yes.
where I am, where he needs help, the child? Oh, and backtrack, before all this, they wanted to place him in the EIC, or the separate special education learning center. And I said, why? I want him in general education. Well, we think that it's best for him. We don't want him to get delayed any further. What? Like, I'm sorry, he's gonna have a delay for the rest of his life. So
Yeah.
let's just
Down
meet him
syndrome's
where
here
he
to
is.
stay.
Like, it's not going nowhere. You're either pregnant or not. You either have Down
Yeah.
syndrome or a third copy, and you don't. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. It's one or the other. It's not both. So
Mhm.
I was like, we're gonna put him in general education, and you're gonna push in services. You're not gonna pull out. So there's a lot of jargon. There's a lot of overwhelming language. There's legal language where they have to put stuff in on describing their qualification for it. And that's the whole part that I was not prepared for as a parent. So, as a clinician, you have to go through labeling to be able to justify to the insurance companies for these services. And that I knew, but I didn't feel it from this side. It's like they're telling me, well, he can't do this and he can't do that, and he's this way and he's got this qualification. Okay, but can you soften it? Because, gosh, like, why? And apparently I had to fight with the district about a word, the word vitality. I don't know if you've met this or if you'll meet this, but be prepared if it's happening in Oregon too. you'll need to prepare yourself for the lack of vitality that affects his or her vitality. And that is what got me. I was like, hold on. His vitality is fine. He thrives. He's happy. He's right here. Like, just look at his face. Like, if you're crying, if you're upset, if you're like in emotions, he will come over and say hi and give you a hug. Like, what do you mean vitality? So I had to take my ego out of it. And that was probably the hardest. But yeah, going to court, doing the due process, if you can, the lawyers literally will charge the school district, at least in California. I don't know about other states, but in California, my attorney didn't cost me a penny. He charged our district. So
I'm listening. Sorry. I was Googling the vitality thing. I was so interested. I have not come across that yet, and I actually have not been told about that yet at all, by anybody. Nobody's mentioned that. And so I did just Google it, and I Googled Oregon specific. I'm in Oregon. You're in California. I know we have a lot of commonalities, but not always the same. And it does say that the term vitality within an IEP is defined in the context of eligibility for the other health impairment category. Yeah. And it refers to a student's limited endurance or energy levels due to a chronic or acute health problem that negatively affects their educational performance. So my understanding of that would be like Addie is in like a 3.5 hour, but she gets there a little bit late because of other stuff. But little preschool class 4 days a week. And by the end of it, she's falling asleep. She's like sleepy and tired. It's her nap time. She stays awake for it, but her energy levels definitely decrease. So my understanding would be that like if she couldn't make it the whole time and was like needing a nap, then that would be affecting her vitality. But you're right. That sounds really weird. And also, you said something else that's so important that I've touched upon a few times in other episodes too, which is that you have to take your pride out of it. We have been discussing homeschooling, and now everybody knows that we are adopting another child who has Down syndrome. So we're going to have...
Congratulations for
Thank
that.
you. We're so excited. But so we have a lot to consider. We have these two children that will need specialized education help their entire lives, their entire schooling lives. And I also have a 4-year-old who needs different accommodations for a few different things as well. And we've been discussing homeschooling. And we're very fortunate that we have that option even. But when I think about it, it makes me so angry because while homeschooling is an amazing option, it shouldn't be an option that I feel I have to make for my child's safety. It should be a choice.
Right. Yeah.
And me wanting to be up in arms about that and prove a point does not help my child. So I've been really lately trying to think, do I think homeschooling would be best for Addie and for this future child that we are adopting? Or do I think it's worth the fight for general education? And that's not something I have an answer to yet, but it's something that I've been having to really work internally hard at, trying to take my pride out of it.
Yeah.
Everything can't be a cause and everything can't be a fight, because while it might suck and feel unjust and inequitable, our kids still deserve what they need to thrive. So that's a really great point.
And it's a pick your battles type thing.
Exactly. Like, it is.
There's a hill to die on, and this might not be it. Like,
yes, and getting somebody that's trained in total communication for Dax was, and it should be, as it should be. Yeah. You know, Addie's in the same boat right now. She doesn't have any words. She's got some approximations and stuff. And she does have an AAC device, but she's not consistent with it. She's consistent with her signs. And when you ask direct questions, yes or no questions, or this or that questions, she can sign and answer you really clearly. And she can also grunt, point, show. That's total communication, and that's inclusion. So,
exactly.
Definitely worth the fight.
That I wanted, and with the first due process in Ventura, Dax is the youngest client to have a one-on-one because I pushed for it. So I'm very proud of that. That's like my own little check mark on my
wow, how cool. So, Addie has a one-on-one, but I think it's a little bit different because she's still under the IFSP. The one-on-one is actually provided by our early childhood intervention services, even though she's 3.5. So I don't think it would qualify as the same because she's pretty young also, but I think that'll be different getting a one-on-one in public school.
With our school district, they don't offer them until like like the safety, eloping, the whole thing. So like Dax, while he does elope a little bit, he can be cornered and like sheepdog back in.
Yeah, Addie's a big eloper too. Disability Services is we're in the process of getting them getting bids to get approved a fence for our front yard because she loves to run at the road and she's not very fast yet, but she's very sneaky and quiet. That's the problem. And then you notice her and then she'll just start giggling and you're like, "God dang it, you're almost to the road." Ugh. You gotta sprint after her. So
The
yeah.
silent ones are the ones you gotta be aware of.
Yep. So I wanted to point out and I guess also ask how you've seen this play out. So it's really amazing that you've been able to take this school district to court. That obviously takes a lot of time, financial, not even like dollars to the lawyer, like you said, they charge the school district, but you're missing time from work and from other things that you could be doing, and you're spending your time doing this instead. So that takes a lot of like privilege. It takes a lot of privilege. And the fact that you're able to do that is amazing. And not everybody can do that. Not everybody either has the time, the resources, the money, the knowledge that that's even an option. Doesn't speak English as a first language. You know, there's so many different barriers to entry for that. Do you think that you being able to do that has benefited other kids in the district and maybe like taught the district something?
I would hope. I mean, ideally, every advocate hopes that, you know, what they do affects other kids or other families or whatnot. And yes, I do have a lot of privilege. I am inadvertently a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if you know, but I had a stroke when Dax was 6 months old.
Yes, I've seen
And
you
so
posting about it.
that stroke, the 3 strokes I had that put me in the hospital, that made me a stay-at-home mom. I didn't really have a choice in that. So while I've been fighting to regain dexterity, regain flexibility, regain speech, I've had my own speech therapist for the last 3 years. So like I'm over here trying to do my own therapy, do my own thing. And like you've even said, I've watched on TikToks, any person can become disabled. I became disabled at age 33. So like it can happen randomly.
Yes.
And darn
yes.
the chiropractor for doing that to me. But yeah,
I've heard such scary things about chiropractic. I'll never do it. I'm too scared. Too scared.
Don't do it. But
oh
like,
gosh,
I'm like the poster child for several different things. But like doing that did give me the luxury, again with this invisible strength, the luxury to be able to advocate for Dexton. Because now, even though I do, thank God for calendars too, but because of not having a day job and being a stay-at-home mom now, that has given me and opened up a lot of time and focus to be able to do all this, to fight the regional center, to fight the district, to advocate for the insurance company to cover his formula and diapers. And like, it's been a nightmare. But I'm hoping that because of our local T21 moms group in Ventura County, we have this amazing woman, Jill. She created this whole group of network of moms of all ages, from birth, prenatal to like 15, 18. I think our oldest is like 20 now. But the moms have all grouped together in Ventura County. And I actually got the name of my lawyer from a different mom in that group. So
I love that.
Having that community in the local sector is so important, because now I can pass on my knowledge of, okay, this is what happened with me with Ventura. Here, you do this with your school district, and like so forth and so on. Like Misty to Hollis to me to you to whomever we can, getting that information out has been helpful to each of those families, because I had no idea that if the school district can't provide FAPE, they have to provide a backup. If they can't do it in public schools, the district, pays for your kid to go to private.
And FAPE, for anybody that isn't aware, is free and appropriate public education, and it is required by law under IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, which is something that a lot of disability advocates are very worried about at the moment. Follow my TikTok for more information about that. I won't even get into that right now. But free and appropriate public education means that they meet your child where they are. They have to have an appropriate, accessible education. So they have to have a plan where your child can learn just like any other child, neurodivergent or neurotypical, delayed, not delayed, disabled, not disabled, medically complex, not medically complex. They all have to have equal access to education. That is what FAPE is. And it's not understood by a lot of parents, unfortunately, that they
Yeah.
owe your child that.
Well, it's overwhelming. There's so
It's
much
very
information,
overwhelming.
and they
Mm-hmm.
bank on that. They like
Mm-hmm.
it's like when they have the funds, they pretend it's theirs. And they like, oh, okay, here's the dollar. Okay, here's the dollar. It's like, why not? Your job is to take care of these kids.
And the funds that you're referring to, the government gives, again, this is something that we're worried about at the moment, but the government currently, OSEP, the Office of Special Education Programs, doles out funds based on how many disabled students are in your school. I think it goes by district. Don't quote me on that. It might depend on where you're at. But by school or by district, however that may be doled out. And it's based on your kid. So your kid is owed those dollars in some form or another, be it paying staff that is specially trained for communication, or be it bringing in some kind of aid or a mobility aid or, XYZ something. That's something that the school is being given money to for your student. It's not the school being paid to have your child. That's not what the money's there for. But,
Right.
and I don't want to sound like I'm attacking public schools. I'm not. I think it's amazing. I think that everybody on the ground floor of public schools, the teachers, the principals, the aides, everybody there wants our kids to thrive. People that are higher up want to keep as much money as possible to benefit their school, which again, I get it. Things that make money are not the disabled students. It's the football teams. It's the fun activities. It's the PTA. You know what I mean? It's not like the disabled students isn't alluring. It's not fun and exciting for the community.
It just
So
draw attention. Yeah.
exactly, which it should. But if you're doing a great job with disabled students, you should absolutely brag about it in your community. But that isn't what happens in the real world. And so those funds don't always get distributed appropriately to provide FAPE. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off for that big tangent.
No, that's perfect. Honestly, every time I talk to you, I feel like I'm learning something new, even though like it's the same thing. You
thank you.
And I not to like fluff your ego a little bit, but I honestly
Oh my gosh.
do. Every time I watch a video, I'm like, I know this information, but why does it sound so much better coming from you? Like,
I so appreciate that. I'm very fortunate that my I guess ADHD has allowed me to hyper focus on advocacy, because I know a lot of law and stuff like that by heart at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
Couldn't remember the Love is Blind controversy, but I've got FAPE down. Oh gosh. Okay, so going off of what you said a couple minutes ago now, what advice would you give to a parent, to me, say you're talking to me then, what advice would you give to me with a child that's about to go into public school? My neurodivergent 4-year-old is in the process of, I actually really haven't talked about this on social media, but he's in the process of being diagnosed with ASD, so sorry, not ADHD. And likely that will be done before kindergarten so that he can have an IEP in place. And so that is in 6 months, and then in a year and a half, Addie will be starting school, whatever that may look like when we decide that.
Right.
What advice would you give me for entering public schools with children who have extra needs?
So,
I know, big question.
Hours about this. So, what I would do first is, if you were in California, this is how I would phrase my advice. I would contact any and all of your own medical providers and get evaluations and everything done first. Don't trust the school district and their providers to do the assessments, because they are going to cater it to what they want to provide at first. So they're going to give you the least amount of things as possible. So like for when Dax did it, we went into an office, the speech, the OT, the PT, they all were in a room. The psychologist was there. The coordinator was there. So everyone was there. And he played and they wrote everything down. They asked me questions. I was pretty much interviewing while they were playing with him off to the side. So I wish in retrospect I'd paid more attention to what they were doing and what they were writing down. And for me, I should have, which as you know, brings in a lot of guilt of the woulda, coulda, woulda, shouldas, and the, knowing what I know now, I would do it so differently. And for me, I wish I had gone in with an ASL assessment right from the get-go, because it took me a year and 2 months to get this ASL
Oh,
part written
wow.
into his IEP, because they were fighting me, because they said, oh, well, he's not deaf, and all those reasons. So I wish I'd gone in with the medical diagnoses and the medical prescriptions or whatever it was that they could have written from his assessment, his evaluation. I had the service providers from Early Start and their stuff, but they're not medical doctors.
Yes.
You know, go in with your documentation in a binder and go. Like, you know what I mean?
Have it ready.
Have it prepared. And honestly, shameless plug, California now has what's called Undivided. And Undivided is a digital bundle journal booklet that you have all of this in. It's an app, it's a website. I love it. And I just fought Regional Center and they approved it finally, legally. I got a court order that says that Regional Center has to fund it for Daxton.
Okay.
So it's amazing. I learned about it at Dear Mom. And so now it's given me the toolbox to be able to take it to whomever I need to, Regional Center or the district or whoever.
Yeah.
And it's parents helping other parents. And so now I've got a checklist. I've got, okay, bring this, bring this, bring this. And when you're going into your first IEP, be prepared for them to say, we don't do that. All you have to say in response is, please show me the written policy where you don't.
Okay, that's the magic words, guys.
The magic words.
Show me the
Because
written policy.
if they don't have a written policy for it, they can't deny you. They have to compromise or negotiate.
Okay.
And so that, had I known that then, I would have done that from the get-go. So they had an aid. They did what they call, down here, they call it a, oh God, brain fart. They call it a stop placement or a I'm gonna have to Google it now. Darn it, stroke brain. It's a put in place, like where they have to pause everything, and they have to provide what you agree to, and then they have to negotiate everything else. It's a
Stay put rights.
Stay put. That's it.
I Googled it.
Thank you. So the quick assist. So they have to do a stay put. So if you agree to an hour a week of speech, and if you agree to an hour a week of PT, but you don't agree to 20 minutes a week of occupational therapy and you want more, they can do speech and PT, but they have to pause on anything else that you don't agree with. And that, I think a lot of parents don't know or don't realize, that you can piece out your IEP. If you don't agree with the whole thing, they can do the stuff you agree to, and you have to explicitly say that in writing. So I learned very quickly. My mother was a paralegal for 35 years. So I know kind of how to phrase things. And I helped my husband go to court to get my stepson to live with us. So I feel like I've got a little bit of legal background.
Update. I was still Googling while you're talking. The stay put rule, this is new to me. I'm so glad to learn this. I did not know about this. I actually absolutely will be making a video about this. The stay put rule is a federal requirement under IDEA, under the Individual with Disabilities Education Act. So every state has it. I wasn't sure if Oregon had it, so I was Googling it. Every single state has a stay put rule. So what you're saying basically is that you have the right to pick and choose, basically. So to pause one part of your IP while continuing forth with every other part until that specific issue or problem or concern is resolved. So go ahead. That's awesome to know.
So if they give you 5 things as an offer and you only agree with the first 3 get implemented, but the other 2 you go to due process and you negotiate and you go through settlement. And that's how Dax got his one-on-one. I wanted a one-on-one. I wanted an itinerant teacher from special education to come in and push in to his general education class. They didn't agree. But I wanted all the other minutes they had agreed to for services like speech, PD, OT, all of that. So until he had the one-on-one, until we had which it took 8 months for them to schedule mediation, to agree to sign a settlement. It was a nonsense delay tactic. But when they agreed to it, he finally got all of his services by January of this year. And so it took
So what was
them
the total timeline? Yeah.
so August of last year, August of 2024 was his first official school year. And from August to January, he only had services, PT, OT, speech. Then in January, we signed the mediation agreement that he would receive a one-on-one, which is the girl who had been shadowing him from the campus, because the special education department is different from your campus. So when he had his one-on-one finally assigned to him, she had to then apply for that job. They could or could not hire her, but I wrote it into the IEP that it had to be her, because he had already familiarized
Yes.
himself
Yeah.
with her, and
Yeah.
like he trusted her, he liked her.
Yes.
So I was like,
Addie
no, we're
loves her
gonna keep
one-on-one.
her.
I get it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And the consistency matters.
Mm-hmm.
Like a tantrum over the next few weeks that's not going to help them learn. It's not going to help them engage. So,
no.
But from August to January, he had to stay put. And then from January to May is when we had to do the outside ASL assessment and had to redo the IEP, which he lost that whole first year of total communication, which pissed me off, but that's, at least we got it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And that's in place forever if needed now, correct?
Yes.
That's in
yes.
the IEP. So if he is in school until 21, that will be there.
Yes.
Perfect. That was my understanding. I thought so.
Whoever aide he has, because it may change if she.
Of course. At some point, I'm sure it will. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever is shadowing him gets 4 hours a month, so an hour a week, of not training, but like consultative hours
Mm-hmm.
to learn whatever like ASL signs he signs regularly.
Yeah.
To learn how to communicate with him.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a lot of information. That's awesome. No, in like a good way. In a good way. We'll just hit you up in a year when I'm getting closer to it, I guess.
Yes.
But I'm sure somebody listening to this is getting ready for their kid to go to school next year or whatever, or just has an IEP meeting coming up and is anxious about it. So that's amazing.
And if you feel like you need extra help or advocacy, go to your local SELPA, figure out who can sit with you, take an OT or a PT that you trust to come with you, that knows kind of, because at 3 years old, I had no experience being a parent in an IEP, and I was nervous. It's okay to be nervous. It's a new thing. And that is why I loved our OT. She was fantastic from early start. She helped me kind of dip my toe into the new arena. And so I brought her with me, and she's like, no, don't say that. No, that's not okay. No, push for 60 more minutes. Do this. And so it gave me the confidence.
I love that. Has there been any, it could be either with the school district or just personally with Dax, has there been any milestones or small wins that have just felt absolutely huge and massive to you?
Yes. And honestly, I feel like they all are. I don't know if it's the same for you, but like literally anytime I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, you did that? And then my younger boy, he'll be like, Mommy, I did this. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's so different. And so, like, I feel guilty about that. But then, like, he'll turn on the Xbox and, like, change the game he's on and change it to, like, Cantonese. I'm like, what are you doing? So he's smart in his own ways. And he's got his own, like accomplishments and new goals and new milestones himself. But, like, the one that I think was the most monumental for me, Dax doesn't eat solids. He's still formula fed. And, like, even if I offer bites, he'll be like, no. So, and, like, he'll scream, no! Like, I don't want that. But, like, the minute he put a Fruit Loop on his tongue, we were doing a dance. We were, like, playing around the living room. It was so intense. And, like, he still doesn't eat food. He still doesn't, like, he I feel like it's oppositional at this point. Like he's
Yeah,
choosing, like, I don't want that. I want my
maybe.
bottle. Give me what makes me happy.
Yeah.
Um, and then the walking was huge because
Yes. Oh, that was
he's
huge.
scattered. He's very scattered. He will go 1 minute, he'll like when he was a baby, he would roll
Mm-hmm.
over, and then he'd army crawl. Then he'd go back to scooting like Bluey did on her butt. You know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
with the one leg up. And then he'd go back to crawling again. He'd crawl normal, then go back to army crawling, and then he's all over the map. And so at 25 months, he started walking, and that was a pretty big deal. Like we did like
Yeah.
family dances over that.
That's awesome. It's crazy. The things that other people take for granted just are huge wins in our lives. Absolutely.
Big.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. How do you think that this journey with Dax has changed your outlook on life?
My God, every single way. Like, are you kidding me? I'm sure for you it's the same. You're adding
Absolutely.
another kid. Like, that's how loving and how open and how, like, so I always say, before Dax, I was a pretty empathetic and empathic person. Now I'm split open. I am raw. I am like tissues constantly over the
Oh, I could cry
smallest
over
thing.
anything. Yes. Yes.
And like
Anything.
that's not just being a parent. That's being a parent to the most vulnerable population.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, I think alone. I got crap for crying a lot before having kids. So after having kids, it's like I'm like a walking waterworks over
Mm-hmm.
everything. And like you said, the milestones, like the celebratory part of it is so much bigger now, and it's so much more joy. That I think has to be the number one thing. Like our posts about like how uh the kid was supposed to ruin our lives, our marriage. Oh my God, I can't
Oh,
believe, like,
yes.
you know, the trope about
Yes.
how you're fighting and you're at each other's throats or whatever. And it's actually, when I got the diagnosis 3 weeks after he was born, my husband looked at me and said, "Okay, so," like that. And that was the most depressive for my dad. My dad was like, "Okay, you're fine. You're with a man who is not running away when things
Yes.
get hard, when things
Yeah.
get challenging, or when things don't go the way that you want them to go."
Mm-hmm.
And so like I now feel guilt over the fact that I had so much grief and he
Yeah.
didn't. I was like, "Why can't you be here with me?" And he's like, "Cuz it
Yeah.
doesn't matter." Like, and now looking back, it's just added so much more joy. Cuz looking at him and he goes, "Mom, mom." And it's mum, like he's British, and the mum. And I'm like, "Hi." And he's like, "Up." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll pick you up." And like that is just like I think you've said, like, okay, if he lives with me forever, I got a built-in bestie. I'm good.
Cool. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. That's strongly my opinion on it.
he
You know
is the
what? Just
happiest person. I'm okay with that.
yes. Just last night, I think it was literally last night or maybe 2 nights ago, my 10-year-old, she's been talking a lot. I think they talked about college recently at school. She's in 5th grade. And so she's been talking a lot about college. And she decided she wants to be a veterinarian. Who knows? That'll change 10 more times, I'm sure. But um, she was talking about how at first she said she wants to live with us forever. And we're like, if you have a job and you're like doing stuff, whatever, you're 10, whatever, you're going to
Yeah.
change your mind, but fine for now. But then she was like, or maybe I could buy a big house and Addie could come live with me. And I was like, I love that. I love that you're thinking like that too. Like, I don't, and I know you agree. We don't ever want our other kids to feel like that's their obligation or anything. But
Right.
like, she realizes too that like if her sissy and future other sibling needs extra help, like they might be living with daddy and I forever. They might be wanting to live in a group home or independent living or whatever. They might want to live with a sibling. Like who knows? Who knows what it'll look like?
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. When the pandemic happened, me and my husband moved into my parents' house because we left Portland,
That's
where we were
right.
living, and came back down to where I grew up. And we lived in my parents' house for 2 years. And like, we don't have Down syndrome. My parents just like had me and my husband and at the time she was 4-year-old, my stepdaughter. Like, sometimes you live with your parents, whatever. Like, it's fine. If Addie needs to live with me, if Dax needs to live with you, it's okay.
Thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. So
No.
yeah, I agree.
And like the cool part about all of this, about having the either younger or older siblings to the kids with Down syndrome, is like my 13-year-old said too. He's like, oh, I'm gonna buy a house and Dax will live with me. Carter can live with me too, my youngest. And like, well then we'll just all live together. I'm like, I love that for you, because you're so like wanting to take care of your siblings. Like I'm an only child, so I never had that bond. So I love seeing it. And I love that they want to take ownership and be like, oh, and like the biggest fear, like, you know, is like, what are you going to do when I'm no longer here? How do I keep you safe? How do I protect you? How do I advocate? Your siblings. And that's the coolest part about Dear Mom that I cannot wait for you to experience, is they invite the siblings. The siblings speak. Not a dry eye in the house, I swear.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait to go to Dear Mom. Okay, I've got to wrap this up. I have a telehealth appointment for Addie in 10 minutes, but I'll ask you one last question. This is kind of a hard one. What is one thing you want to share with everybody about Dax that you just adore about him? What's one amazing thing about him?
Oh,
I know.
that is a hard one. It's so much. It's like
everything.
His laugh.
Oh,
totally 100% his laugh, because it's like a it's so cute. It's like a devious, like, I know something.
Addie has a cheesy laugh too. I love it. Oh, that's so sweet. I love that. Jaycie, thank you so much for being here with me. It was like talking to an old friend. Oh my gosh. Okay.
I loved it too. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And everybody else, if you've made it this far, please follow, leave me 5 stars, and share this podcast with a friend or two. Also follow along on social media. Jaycie, what's your social media?
It's Jaycie Conley at TikTok, and it's Mrs._Conley on Instagram.
And I'll put that in the show notes as well. My TikTok is at The Inclusion Effect, and my Instagram and Facebook are also at The Inclusion Effect. And thank you to everybody for helping me build this amazing community. Thank you, Jaycie, for being here, and we'll talk to you guys next week.